It was 11:47 p.m. when Amit turned off the engine. The lake was completely still. A faint glow from the moon spilled across the black water. Dense forests surrounded them on every side. No sound except the soft slap of water against the hull. Amit, Rahul and Kavya were college friends. They had planned a weekend camping trip on a remote lake in northern India during the summer break. They rented a small motorboat for the day. They fished, cooked on the shore, laughed, and decided to sleep on the boat that night instead of setting up tents. "We'll head back early tomorrow," Rahul said. "There's no signal out here anyway." Amit switched off the headlight. The darkness deepened. Kavya kept a flashlight on. The three of them sat in the middle of the boat. The water was so calm they could see their own reflections. Then Kavya spoke. "Do you hear that?" They all listened. A faint sound drifted across the water. Someone crying, soft, distant. Rahul laughed. "Probably animals in the forest or the wind." But the crying grew closer. Now it was clear, a child sobbing. "Mummy, mummy." Amit swept the flashlight across the lake. The water remained black. Nothing moved. The crying stopped abruptly. Silence. Then the boat lurched, as if something had pushed it from below. "What was that?" Kavya's voice shook. Rahul tried to start the engine. It turned over but refused to catch. He tried again and again. Nothing. The battery seemed dead. Amit checked his phone. No signal. Rahul's phone. No signal. Kavya's the same. The boat lurched again, harder this time. Water began to spill over the side. "Something's underneath us," Kavya whispered. Amit shone the light into the water. For a moment, he thought he saw a pale hand just beneath the surface. Long, white. Then it was gone. The night grew heavier. The three of them sat closer together. The flashlight beam began to weaken. Then the voice returned, much closer now. "Help me, it's so cold." It was no longer a child's voice. It belonged to a young woman. It sounded exactly like Kavya. Kavya's face went white. "That's my voice. I didn't say anything." Rahul shouted into the darkness. "Who's out there?" The only answer was soft laughter, cold, coming from under the water. The boat rocked violently. All three were thrown to the side. Water reached their knees. Amit began bailing with a small bucket. Rahul grabbed the oars. The boat refused to move, as if something was holding it in place. Then Kavya screamed. Something had grabbed her fingers in the water. Amit seized her arm and pulled. Long, deep scratches marked her ankle. Blood mixed with the lake water. "It was pulling me under," she sobbed. Rahul aimed the flashlight downward. This time they all saw them clearly. Faces beneath the surface, pale, eyes wide open, mouths slightly parted as if still trying to breathe. Dozens of them. Rahul aimed the flashlight downward. This time they all saw them clearly. Faces beneath the surface, pale, eyes wide open, mouths slightly parted as if still trying to breathe. Dozens of them. One face rose closer. It looked directly at Amit and smiled. The boat heaved again. Water poured in. Now it reached their waists. Amit broke off a wooden plank and struck at the water. Nothing happened. The laughter only grew louder. A cold hand closed around Rahul's leg. He screamed as he was yanked overboard. Amit and Kavya lunged for him. More hands erupted from the water. They pulled Rahul down. His scream cut off underwater. The surface went still for a few seconds. Then Rahul's face appeared, eyes open, water spilling from his mouth. He was smiling. "Come," his voice bubbled up. "It isn't cold down here." Kavya began to scream hysterically. Amit held her tightly on the remaining dry part of the boat. The night stretched on. The flashlight died completely. Only the weak moonlight remained. Then Kavya's voice came again, but Kavya was sitting silently beside Amit. The voice rose from the water. "Amit, I'm so cold. Pull me up." Amit looked at the real Kavya. She shook her head, terrified. "I didn't say that." From beneath the surface, Kavya's face appeared, identical, but the eyes were completely white. "Which one of you is real?" Amit's throat was dry. The Kavya beside him began to cry. "I'm real. Please believe me." The one in the water smiled. "She's lying. She already drowned." Amit's mind spun. Both looked the same. Then the Kavya beside him took his hand. Her skin was ice cold. Amit jerked back with a shout. At that exact moment, the boat flipped completely. The cold hit him like a wall as he went under. He tried to hold his breath. Below him there was light. Faces circled around him. Rahul, Kavya, and many others he did not know, all of them smiling. Hands closed around his throat, others gripped his legs. They pulled him deeper. Amit looked up one last time. The moon was still visible above the surface. A single piece of the broken boat floated on the water. Then everything went dark. At dawn, local fishermen found pieces of a shattered boat drifting near the center of the lake. No bodies, no bags, no phones. On the muddy shore, they discovered only 3 pairs of shoes, neatly placed side by side, as if their owners had removed them willingly. The locals still talk about the lake. In the 1980s, a school boat capsized there, 20 children and 3 teachers. No survivors. No bodies were ever recovered. Now, whenever someone takes a boat out on that lake after dark, soft children's laughter rises from the water, and sometimes a familiar voice. Those who make it back alive say the faces of the people they love call to them from below. "Come, it isn't cold down here." The boat drifted in the middle of the lake, with its engine still running. Amit was the first to notice that something was wrong. He'd been sitting at the back, watching the dark water, when the soft vibration of the motor suddenly felt different. Not louder, not weaker, just wrong. Like the sound was coming from somewhere else. Rahul was at the front with the fishing rod. Kavya sat in the middle, scrolling through photos on her phone, even though there was no signal. The 3 of them had rented the small motorboat for the night. It was supposed to be simple: fish until midnight, drink a few beers, sleep under the stars, and head back at sunrise. No one had spoken for almost 20 minutes. Then Kavya looked up. "Did you hear that?" Amit and Rahul both turned. The lake was completely still. The moon hung low and yellow. The forest around the water was a solid black wall.
"Hear what?" Rahul asked.
"Someone calling." Amit listened. At first there was nothing. Then, very faintly from far across the water, a voice drifted toward them. It was soft, almost polite. "Help, please." Rahul laughed once, nervous. "It's just the wind." The voice came again, clearer this time. "The boat is sinking. Please." Amit stood up and shone the powerful flashlight across the lake. The beam cut through the darkness and landed on nothing but black water. No other boat, no swimmer, nothing. The voice stopped. For a long time, the 3 of them sat in silence. The only sound was the low hum of their own engine. Then the engine died. Rahul tried the ignition. The motor turned over once, twice, then refused to catch. He checked the fuel, still half full. He tried again. Nothing. Amit picked up the oars. The moment the wooden blade touched the water, something brushed against it, soft, cold, like a hand. He pulled the oar up fast. There was nothing on it. Kavya's voice was small. "We should go back." "We can't," Rahul said. "Engine's dead and we're in the middle of the lake." The boat rocked once, gently, as if something large had passed underneath. Amit shone the light straight down. For a second, the water looked deeper than it should have been, much deeper, and in that darkness he thought he saw pale shapes moving. Then the light hit something closer to the surface. A face. It was looking up at them, eyes open, mouth slightly parted. The skin was the color of wet paper. It did not blink. Kavya screamed. The face sank slowly, still staring, until the darkness swallowed it. Rahul grabbed the emergency radio. Static. He switched channels. More static. He tried the air horn. The sound echoed across the lake and came back wrong, longer than it should have been, as if the darkness had held onto it. The boat rocked again, harder. Water began to seep over the side. Amit started bailing with a plastic container. Rahul joined him. Kavya held the flashlight with both hands, the beam shaking. The voice returned. This time it was right beside the boat. "You left us here." It was not one voice. It was many, speaking together, soft and wet. "You left us in the water." Amit looked at his friends. Both of them had gone pale. "We didn't leave anyone," Rahul shouted into the dark. "There's no one here." The boat lurched violently. Kavya fell against the side. Her arm went into the water up to the elbow. Something closed around her wrist. She screamed and yanked her arm back. Long, thin scratches ran from her wrist to her elbow, already filling with blood. The marks looked like fingernails. Amit pulled her to the center of the boat. Rahul was still trying the engine, cursing under his breath. The flashlight beam swept across the water again. This time there were more faces. Dozens. They floated just beneath the surface in a wide circle around the boat, all looking up. Men, women, children. Some wore old-fashioned clothes. Some wore modern life jackets that were torn and dark with water. Every face had the same expression, calm, almost curious. One of the faces rose higher than the others. It was a young woman. Her hair drifted around her head like black smoke. She looked directly at Kavya and smiled. "Sister," the drowned woman said. The word bubbled up through the water. "Come home." Kavya began to cry. "That's not my sister. My sister is alive. She's in Delhi." The drowned woman tilted her head. "Not anymore." The boat tipped hard to the left. Rahul lost his balance and fell halfway over the side. Hands, pale, wrinkled, waterlogged, shot out of the lake and grabbed his shirt, his arms, his hair. He screamed as they pulled. Amit lunged forward and caught Rahul's belt. For a moment, the two of them strained against the weight. Then more hands appeared. They pulled harder. Rahul's fingers slipped from Amit's grip one by one. The last thing Amit saw was Rahul's face as it went under. His eyes were wide, his mouth was open. He was still screaming when the water closed over him. The surface went still. Then Rahul's face reappeared, calm now, smiling the same empty smile as the others. "It's warm once you stop fighting," he said. Kavya was sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Amit held her and kept bailing, even though the water was rising faster than he could throw it out. The circle of faces tightened around the boat. One of them spoke in Amit's father's voice. "You should have visited more often." Another spoke in the voice of a girl Amit had dated in college and never called again. "You forgot me." A third voice belonged to no one he knew, yet it felt familiar, like a memory he had tried to erase. The boat was half full of water now. Every time Amit threw a container over the side, a hand would rise and try to grab the container, or his wrist, or the edge of the boat. Kavya's flashlight finally died. In the sudden darkness, the voices became clearer. "The water remembers every person who has ever drowned here. We have been waiting for the boat to come back. There is always room for 3 more. Amit felt something cold touch the back of his neck. He turned. Nothing was there. When he turned back, Kavya was gone. He had been holding her. 1 second she was against his chest, shaking. The next second his arms were empty and the boat was lighter. He heard her voice from under the water, calm and distant. "Amit, it's okay. They were right. It doesn't feel cold anymore." He shouted her name until his throat burned. Only the soft lapping of water answered him. The boat was sinking faster now. Water reached his chest, then his shoulders. He climbed onto the last dry part of the hull, the pointed tip at the front. The faces had formed a perfect ring around him, hundreds of them, all smiling, all waiting. Rahul's face was among them. Kavya's face was among them. And behind them deeper were older faces, some with empty eye sockets, some with hair that moved like riverweed. The last part of the boat slipped under. Amit took one final breath, and then the water closed over his head. The cold lasted only a moment. Then the hands found him. They did not pull roughly. They guided him down deeper, where the moonlight could not reach. The pressure increased. His lungs began to burn. He opened his mouth to scream, and water filled him. The last thing he saw, before the dark became complete, was the circle of faces leaning in close. They were no longer smiling. They looked hungry. 3 days later, a local fisherman found the rental boat floating near the far shore. The engine was still in the on position. The ignition key was still in place. 2 life jackets were neatly folded on the back seat. A half-empty bottle of water stood upright in the cup holder, as if someone had just put it down. There were no signs of a struggle. No bodies were ever recovered. The rental company reported that the boat's GPS had stopped transmitting at 1:17 a.m. on the night the three friends disappeared. The final recorded location was the deepest part of the lake. Local people still refuse to take boats out after dark. They say that if you listen carefully on quiet nights, you can hear three voices calling from the middle of the water. One of them always sounds exactly like someone you love.